Hello guys, Glenn from Sydney CBD Repair Center and another screen replacement on a new device that's first to be featured on this channel. It's the Honor 10 Lite. So let's see how it fares in terms of repairability, how hard it is, how easy it is to repair. And as you can see here, the back glass is good, but later on you will see the cracks on the front display. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's still rendering color really well, but the user experience will not be very good when you swipe across the glass and there's cracks all over it. You can actually injure yourself if you carry on with a broken front display, so you have to replace it right away. So right here there's a flex cable for the fingerprint scanner at the back, and you have to be very careful not to snap it. It's fairly long, so when you lift up the back cover you won't necessarily destroy it. And look at that crack on the front. You can see that the colors are all good, but when you put the phone to sleep or lock it, you can actually see all the cracks. So we're gonna remove this motherboard shroud with all the screws, and we're just gonna mark it so we remember where to put each screw when we reassemble the device. So the flex cable is still attached. You have to be very careful not to get that one snagged and snapped. So right here is the connector for the display. We're gonna remove it and test the replacement display and see if it works. We know that the smartphone works because it's already working even if we're removing the back glass, and we can see that it's working on the replacement display. So the magic of this flex cable for the display is it's feeding actually data. Actually the touch input from your fingers is directly transmitted through that cable that we just put on the motherboard, and it's also feeding power to the display. So we can see here that it's rendering colors accurately. It receives touch. So this is a combo. You have the touch interface and the display into one assembly. So the next thing we're gonna do now is turn off the device, properly turn that off, and disassemble the whole thing, since we know that the replacement display is working 100%. We're gonna remove the battery here. It's fairly easy, and the reason we're gonna do that is because the flex cable for the display, the old display, is right behind the battery, so we have to uninstall that before we can remove the old display right here. So there's a hole on the main housing where the cable is feed through, and we're just gonna clean up the adhesives, the old adhesives that's attaching the old display, and maybe replenish it with a fresh run of glue right here. So this is important. There's no screws on this thing like most modern smartphones. The display is just adhesives. All of it is adhesives. So let's feed through the flex cable and make sure that the camera glass right there, the front camera glass, is clear, no dust or glue on it, or else your selfies will be smudgy. And then we're gonna put the flex cable for the display on the motherboard, and you can see that we didn't remove the motherboard in this procedure because it's secured on the housing. You can still remove the display without removing that one. So in terms of repairability, it is fairly easy. When you replace the battery, it's also easy. But if you don't have the tools and the experience and you want to try this on your own to save some cash, and you just buy something from AliExpress or Amazon, replacement display, and you want to install it yourself, then that might be a bad idea, since you can see that the smartphone is literally disassembled to its major components, except for the motherboard, of course. But you just have to be very careful not to destroy any of these connectors and cables in the process. So if you're an enthusiast and you have done this before, then maybe you can give it a try. But if you don't really have a backup phone and this is your only phone, then maybe you go to a professional repair technician like the ones here in Sydney CBD Repair Center, and just spend a few $100 and get the job done by experts. So right here, we're just gonna clamp it down. We're just gonna show you how we cure the adhesives that we put in. And then these are clamps to just hold the glass in place, and we're just gonna test the smartphone before we give it out to our customer. So we have a charging test here and touch test afterwards. So if you like this kind of repairs on your phone, if you have an Honor or an iPhone or a Samsung or a smartwatch that needs a new screen, we can fix that for you. And don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel and follow us on our Facebook page. So this is all good now. Thanks for joining me. Till next time, cheers.